Hey everyone, welcome to my next video. This week we are on week 5 of our strength training for marathon runners. So welcome, I'm Coach Becca. I am creating this series for my athletes that I coach remotely that are training for a marathon. I'm training for a marathon if you're just joining us. There's 4 really great workouts that lead into this. You don't have to be training for a marathon to benefit from this, but I do want to focus on this entire series specifically for marathon athletes. If you're training for an Ironman, of course you qualify for that. There's a marathon worked in there. If you're doing triathlon training, this is also a really great way to prepare your body for the strength and the demand of a 70.3, even an Olympic. So lots of different distances of runners can still benefit from this. But if you are training for a marathon, I want to specifically support you with this series. So here we are on week 5. My guess is that you are still building. We talked about this in the last couple episodes. We built for a couple weeks. We had a little bit of a easier session for maybe a down week, a taper week, and race week, and we're building back up as of last week and this week. Some of the movements that we do are going to be progressive. Some of them are going to be the same, so you're getting that repeated stimulus. Some will be just variations, etc. So let's go over equipment here briefly. In all of the last workouts, I have been using a circle TheraBand, circular band of a moderately hard intensity, and we will be doing our opening circuit with this. I've got a set of moderate weights, and in past workouts, I've used my heavier kettlebell. Today I'm going to be using a lighter kettlebell because we're going to be introducing kettlebell swings, and we are going to use a chair today as we keep progressing our RFE, our rear foot elevated split lunges. Today we'll be using the kettlebell in that to progress with an added overhead movement. So you'll need a chair for those split squats that we introduced last week. Just for now, I'm going to open up my space a little bit. And we will begin with the band. We're going to be doing some standing hip extensions, and I like to use the back of the chair for that. So let's get started. We'll get through this workout in hopefully 30 minutes or less. That's always my goal. And in terms of when you want to do this workout, usually I say, make sure you're aware of what's coming up. For my remote athletes, that I'll schedule these on the right days. If you're self-coached or what have you, personally, I'm doing this workout after a key speed session of the week, and tomorrow is an easy run day for me. So I'm not going to overload myself so much that I impose so much damage after my key run. But this week I am choosing to do strength training after my hard workouts, so that my easy days, I'm going to be tired already from the hard run, and I'll be a little bit sore from the strength, so it'll be purely easy days. That's just how this week worked out for me. You can do whatever you want, but some of these movements today, they might impose a little bit of a demand on you, and you don't maybe necessarily want to be doing, some VO2 max efforts on the track or some hill workouts tomorrow, unless it's a specific demand that your coach may want. So just a little context for what's coming today. Okay, so our first exercise is a standing hip extension, a banded hip extension. You can actually do these without a band as well. You're going to stand. I like to put my hands on something so that I don't lean forward. I want to make my hips do the work, and we're going to do 2 sets of 12 per side, just right, left, knock these out of the park, okay? So you're going to stand nice and tall, shoulders stay over the hips. That's why I'm holding onto a chair. I'm going to do my right leg first, and it's all hip extension. So the hip is lengthening, the glutes are shortening to cause this movement. 12 per side, it's a smaller movement. Notice I start with tension in the band. I don't come all the way back here. I create tension, kick the leg back. 12, 11, 10, targeting the butt. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Other side. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. One more set of each. You might feel that hamstring talking to you quite a bit. Certainly where I'm feeling it as well. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Last set of these. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. Okay, our next exercise is going to be the beloved clamshells. If you've ever done any physical therapy ever, I'm sure you have done a clamshell. So now we're going to move the band up from around our ankles to around our knees. We're going to lay on our side, feet together, knees bent to about 90 degrees. And you want to start with tension in the band and just open and close, open and close. 12 per side, 2 sets, right, left. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can bring your legs all the way back together. I just prefer to keep some tension in the band. Kind of just makes the movement feel smooth for me. Okay, we're going to switch sides. Here we go. Feet together, knees at 90 degrees, hips stacked on top of each other. You can just lay however you feel comfortable. 12, 11, 10, 9. I'm going to slide my band up a little bit more. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, one more set of each. It's nice to get the hips specifically moving kind of in different planes of movement, side to side, rotating, extending, etc., because you do a lot of hip flexion type work and running in triathlon and just sitting in life in general. Okay, here we go, other side. Last set of these on the side. 2, 3, 4, 5, halfway at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You can kind of feel those hips opening up a little bit more as I go through this after running, which feels nice. Last set for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, halfway at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Great. Okay, we're going to leave the band right where it's at. We've done banded hip ups before in previous workouts. Today we're going to be doing a single leg bridge, just 5 per side for a total of 10. And then we'll do right, left. So it's a short one. But what you're going to work on is kind of keeping your knees in line. This leg is bent. You can mess around with that angle a little bit. Find what works for you. Band stays right around the knees. And this side is going to obviously have to work to maintain this tension. This side is going to have to do all of the work in terms of the lifting. So get yourself set up. We're going to do 5 and then switch sides. Single leg banded bridge. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see why we're only doing 5. It's pretty tough, especially if you did a key run before this. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I am really trying to press this foot. The inclination is to roll to the outside of the foot. So I'm really trying to tell myself to push this bottom foot into the floor, if that helps you. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, last one with the band is the classic, a banded dead bug. I love dead bugs for core, for hips, core stability, just a lot of good things. It's also kind of a similar running movement in terms of what's happening with the right leg and the left arm, because we're going to do cross body dead bugs today. So I feel like it's a little bit of a specific movement as well as being great for our core. All right, so we're going to do a set of 8 per side, and we'll just go right side, left side. Okay, so we're going to start with our arms here, 90 degrees, and then the knees are right over the hips. Your arms start right above your shoulders. We're going to extend the right leg and the left arm at the same time. So kind of working across the body. So there's 1. We're going to keep going. 2, 3, 4. Try to get that heel to almost touch the ground. 5. This leg stays in one spot. 6, 7, and 8. So you can really feel it. It's working the hip flexor here for this leg to hold, and the other hip flexor in terms of extension. Okay, and then of course we're getting that great core work, that great cross body kind of coordination work. Other side. 1, 2. You got to kind of think about this movement. 3, 4. Oops. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Good. Back to the other side. 1, 2, 3. Halfway at 4. Last set of these on the side. 5, 6, 7, 8. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great work. Okay, all done with the band. Woo. Wonderful. Okay, next we're going to be doing just our quick body weight series, because there's a little bit of jumping involved in that. Okay, so this is kind of why I have shoes on too. So we're going to be doing a single leg hop. We did this, I believe it was 2 weeks ago. So very similar movement, okay? So if you're newer to jumping on one leg, kind of a specific demand that running implies as well. You can do just a single leg calf raise if you're not comfortable jumping. You could also just jump in place, because going side to side is going to be a little bit more challenging, okay? So we're going to do 10 total single leg lateral hops. You can do whatever you want with this leg. I'm going to try to keep it up as high as I can personally, but if you hold it down here, that's fine as well. So you can just find an imaginary spot on the ground. I think when we did these outside, we used a line on my deck. So whatever works for you. If you want to take your band, maybe put that there. Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do them at your own pace. You can, be a little independent on these. I have an injury on this side, so mine's not quite as great on this side, but here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ugh, good. Okay. One more set. I like to get the jumping done early in the workout. Okay. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, the band is not making a good target or hurdle. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and then our last jumping movement of the day, let your heart rate come down a little bit. We'll do right side and then left side and kind of just work one side and then the other, but it's going to be a side lunge. And then when you come up, you're going to go into like a leg lift and arm dry. So it's almost like a skip. And I actually like to do these sometimes. I know I've posted a dynamic warm-up, run warm-up, but sometimes I like to do this movement before like a speed workout as part of the dynamic warm-up. So you could add that to your repertoire if you'd like. All right, so we'll do 5 and then switch. So it's a side lunge and then a skip. Side lunge, skip for 2, 3, 4. I like to get those running arms in there. And 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Other side again. If you need a quick breather. Here we go. Side lunge. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'll kind of go this way so you can see too. Last set, last side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Great. So that's it for our that's it for our jumping. We're going to move on to our kettlebell next. Actually, don't think we need the mat anymore either. So just kind of clear up my space. Okay. So we're going to be doing a very light kettlebell swing today. I sort of categorize this in the power training department. So I'm kind of doing it again a little earlier in the workout before we do some of the harder strength movements. If you've never done a kettlebell swing, it's totally fine to start light, but this is kind of one of those counterintuitive cues. Eventually using a heavier kettlebell, like when I was instructing people in these in-personal training one-on-one, eventually it sounds weird, but if you use a really light kettlebell, once you've mastered the movement, it's almost easier to kind of develop a bad habit and kind of, I used to call it bossing the kettlebell around. So don't be afraid after you've learned these to try a little bit of heavier weight. That'll almost help with good technique. Obviously, there's a fine line between too heavy too soon, and you're the only one that can make that call. But I'm going to use a nice, for me, this is a light kettlebell, and I'll show you what I mean once I get started. If you're somebody that's mastered the kettlebell swing, just know we're going to do 5 sets of 10. And if you just want to like skip forward in the video, that's great. Okay, and we will rest in between our kettlebell swings. Okay, so this is a hip dominant movement. If you've been following along, we've been doing a lot of kettlebell deadlifts. A kettlebell swing is the same movement from the hips, except instead of going up and down with the kettlebell, you're going to be using momentum to push the kettlebell from your hips like a cannon. It's literally a cannonball with a handle attached. So think of your hips as the cannon. Okay, so just a couple introductory movements here. You never want to start with the kettlebell just right behind you because you do need to pick up your momentum somewhere. So start just a little bit behind the kettlebell and that'll help you get started. Okay, so assume the deadlift position. Make sure there's nothing directly behind you. And just do a couple partial swings where you're just going to take the kettlebell and pull it right to where your zipper would be. You should almost feel your wrists touch your inner thighs. Boop. That's it. So just get a couple of those down. Okay, and then we're just going to do a couple single kettlebell swings. So all you're going to do is go back, forth, and then back down. Because a lot of people, once they do a couple swings, is that once they're up here, they just want to drop the kettlebell right on the ground. And to exit the kettlebell swing set without getting hurt or throwing a kettlebell, say, into your wall or mirror, which I've seen before, or your bikes, make sure you're always, after you swing the kettlebell, we only go chest height on these. You bring the kettlebell back to the zipper and then slow it down to the ground. Okay? So let's try a full set of 10. Just remember, after we do 10, back to the zipper to the floor. Okay? First set of 10. Here we go. Remember, it's all in the hips. Use the legs. Exhale for 1. Inhale, exhale. Swing from the hips. Squeeze that tush. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to the hips, to the floor, and we rest. Great job. We're going to do 4 more sets of those, okay? One thing that you'll notice too, when I was teaching these in person a lot, is that I would see people bring the kettlebell down towards their knees or even the floor. It's always the zipper, okay? That'll save your lower back, okay? Keep that kettlebell nice and close to you. Okay, here we go. Let's do set number 2. You should feel your heart rate come up. What's nice about kettlebell swings is it's a metabolic conditioning exercise without any jumping, okay? So you can work your heart rate up work on power, and you never have to leave the floor. So that's another great benefit. And it's good for your tush. Round 2. Start it from the ground. You're about a foot behind the kettlebell. Okay, inhale, kettlebell to the zipper. Push from the hips. 1, 2. Stand nice and tall. Squeeze the glutes and thighs at the top. 3, 2, last one. Zipper to the ground. Now you're getting the hang of it. They don't have to be super pretty. Obviously, you want to have good technique so that you don't get hurt, and understand that. But have some confidence in yourself. Maybe grab a mirror. Just have somebody film you doing a couple of these. Feel your heart rate coming up and recovering. Round 3. You'll get a little bit better each round. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. And just remember, chest height. 2 more sets. While we recover, one thing to note is when you're using a lighter kettlebell, once you get the hang of it, you're going to be producing good power from your form, right? This is a momentum exercise, and you're going to be getting stronger. A lot of times I'll see people really whipping and bossing that kettlebell around. So using a heavier kettlebell can sometimes just help you lock in the form and the technique. It's also going to work your strength training in your lower half even better. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like with my heavier bell for our 4th set. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nice soft arms at the top. 7. Relax those arms. 8, 9, 10. And we'll do one more set. Our last set. If you happen to have 2 kettlebells nearby and you want to try increasing your weight, once you get the technique down, if your body feels up for it, definitely recommend it. Okay. Last set of kettlebell swings. I always feel like my technique personally is a little bit better with these slightly heavier bells. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great. However, I do not want to use this for our next exercise. So I'm going to put that back. Okay, now is when we're going to use our chair. Believe it or not, we only have 3 exercises to go. Let your heart rate recover. Okay, so I'm going to use my lighter kettlebell, and I'm going to bring it up to my chest. And the good way to do that is grab it by the handles, use your legs, lift with the legs. Place your back foot on the step, bench, chair, whatever you're using. Remember from last week, placement of the foot is key. So go back to that if you don't know what I'm talking about. What we're going to do is lower down into a split lunge and up into a press. 5 per side. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. We're going to do 2 more sets. So it's 3 sets of 5 per side. These are hard. Set 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But it'll pay off. Hardest part is getting yourself into position on these. Okay, almost there. 1. Ooh, you can feel it there. 2, come on, legs. 3, 4, and 5. Okay, we're gonna do one more set, but you can see I'm getting tired, and you might be too. It's okay to take the weight out and just do the movement with your arms. It's also okay to take your foot off of the step if you need to, okay? There's no harm done in, I'm showing you a progression from the last several movements. You can always come back down to the earlier movements I taught you, okay? That's why this series is progressive. Okay, last set. And then we're almost there, guys. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. Okay, done with the kettlebell. Okay. We need the chair for our last 2 movements. So, we're going to do running arms. Running arms. I'm using a lighter weight for this. With one leg up. And then just the toe off the ground. So you're kind of working the calf in almost like an isometric. So just lift that heel about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch off the ground. And we'll do 20 running arms per side. 1 set. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more set. If you want to just maybe give yourself just the slightest forward lean, just the most slightest. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. All right. Got to put something in for the calves, however short. Something in for the arms, those biceps, those running arms. And we're on to our last exercise. This week since we did do the kettlebell swings, which is very hamstring and glute dominant, we're going to do a lighter RDL to a row, which means we're going to leave the hips a little bit higher, soft knees. We're going to hinge at the hips, feet shoulder width apart. At the bottom, pull into a bent over row, and then stand. 2 sets of 10, and we're done. Okay? So a moderate weight. I'll show you the first set from the side. Shoulder width apart, hinge at the hips, soft knees, RDL, into a row. RDL, into a row. Hinge for 1, row for 2, relax for 3, stand for 4. Down, pull, RDL, row, and stand. 5 more. 4, 3, great for the back side of the body. 2, and 1. Short break, 15 seconds or so. Great for hamstrings, glutes, strengthens our trunk, our lower back, our posture muscles. One of my favorites. Last set and we're done. Here we go. I'll show you this set from the front. Feet shoulder width apart. Soften the knees, hinge at the hips. RDL, row. 1, 2, 3, 4, halfway at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. All right, guys. Great job. Week 5. Done. That was a hard one. I'll see you guys next week for week 6. Happy running.